Hey y'all, it's Tynetta from Sting Nail Co. And today I'm going to show you how I did these super cute French tips. So I've already prepped the natural nails and applied the tips. Now I'm going to go ahead with the acrylic application. I'm using Mega Bond Nail Primer from StingBeauty.com to prime her nails. So I'm going to put one coat of primer on all her nails, and then I'm going to apply my second coat of primer to each finger right before we apply the acrylic. So this is our new acrylic brush, our number 14 Kolinsky brush. This is what I'm using for application today. So as I said, you're going to apply your second coat of primer and then go straight in with acrylic application. I like to place the first bead where the tip and the natural nail meet, and now I'm going to go ahead and use the tip of my brush to work that product and guide it down the nail towards the tip of the nail. I'm using the body of my brush with a light pressure to go ahead and smooth that down the nail and make sure everything is nice and smooth, nice and even, and there's no lumps or bumps. Once I get that acrylic down to the tip, I'm going to clean up the shape, make sure everything is nice and crispy. This is the key to a clean application, is to just keep molding the acrylic until you can't do it anymore, until it gets too hard to work with. So now you can see the shape is nice and clean. I'm going to go ahead and add my second bead. I'm going to place my second bead in the apex area, and this is going to be our cuticle bead and the apex bead. So as you can see, that bead flows into place, and I'm just using the tip of my brush to guide the product to tell it where to go. Also, I'm twisting her finger, as you can see, so I'm looking at the apex while I'm building it to make sure that it's in the right place and that it has the proper thickness. I like to put the apex where the tip and the natural nail meet, because this is usually where people's nails break if they're going to break. So this is where I like to build up the strength of my nail. Alright, so now that nail is good, I'm going to go ahead and start on the next nail. I'm going to apply my second coat of primer, apply my first bead right where the nail tip and the natural nail meet. And again, like I said, I'm just using the tip of my brush to guide everything into place. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how to do a full set, I would recommend my online class. It's linked in the description box. You learn everything from sanitation to nail prep, cuticle prep, how to shape the nails, acrylic application, acrylic ratio, and a lot more. So just go ahead and click on that link, and it's going to give you all the details of everything that you'll learn, including the pricing and everything like that. Also, if you want to learn like refill and tips on how to build and grow your clientele, that is included in that online class as well. So make sure you check that out if you're interested.
They just wanna fuck with you, 'cause they know I fuck with you. If I put my trust in you, what will you do? Will you just step back? Will you duck it out? Will you be here to the end? I just wanna know if you my friend. I just wanna know if you pretending. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my mind straight. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my mind straight. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my mind straight. Don't give my shit away. I'm just trying to get my mind straight. I used to tell lies, but I would never lie to you. Sipping spray on my dime, looking all kinds of new. So you know what I like, what would you like to do? Tell me, I'm telling you. I know I've been away. I'm just trying to get my mind straight.
I really do love our acrylic brushes. I feel like they're the perfect size and perfect shape for doing nails. The number 12 is great for short nails and fill-ins, and then one ball method. And then I use my 14 with longer nails. So now I'm going to use our 180 grit nail files, and I'm just going to go ahead and clean up the shape on all her nails. I'm going to clean up the free edge, the side walls, and then I'm going to go ahead and smooth out the surface of the nail. I'm using the 100 grit side of my file to file the acrylic. You always want to use the coarse side because acrylic is such a hard substance. Using that 180 side is just going to take a lot longer. So in order to save time and save yourself some of the work with the filing, just go ahead and use the 100 grit side. And as you can see, I'm going to go underneath her side walls as well. This step is very important to make sure that there's no leftover acrylic or any extra nail tip like hiding up underneath their nails. This is gonna give you a nice clean look when clients look underneath their hand, okay? The small details do matter. So now I'm gonna go ahead and smooth over the surface of the nail. I'm still using the 100 side of my file, and I'm just going in a back and forth motion all the way across the nail, as you can see, from right to left. And then I'm gonna go from left to right. And I'm just making sure that there's no lumps or no bumps and everything is nice and smooth. I find that this gives me a smoother transition than me using my e-file. Sometimes when I'm going down like the length of the nail with the e-file, it tends to leave deep scratches just because the surface of the nail isn't completely flat. So I just like to use my my hand file, sorry, and I feel like it gets a better look. It also gets that shape nice and crispy. As you can see, you guys know I always say to look at your nail from different sides and different angles just to make sure everything is nice and smooth. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and seal the cuticles. So I'm using a tapered fine carbide bit. I'm going to start off by going around the sidewalls and the cuticle area, and I do go all the way from the sidewalls, not just the cuticle area. You want to make sure that when you're sealing the cuticle that you're sealing any area that's directly next to skin, because that's where the oil comes from that can cause lifting. So I'm going around the sidewalls, around the cuticle area, and I do brush if there's dust in the way just to make sure I'm not getting her skin. You always want to make sure you can see what you're doing. So once I got the cuticles and the sidewalls nice and sealed, I'm going to go down to the rest of the nail, combining that apex area with the rest of the nail. And then if there's some areas that are still a little bit thick from me hand filing, I'll just go over it thin really lightly. So as you can see, going around, and now I'm going to go ahead and blend out that apex area. Make sure nothing is too thick or too bulky. I really feel like this step is what gives it that clean look that is growing out of their nails. Makes it look really, really natural and not too thick and too bulky around the cuticle area. And let's just get into the thumb, okay? Here's some thumb appreciation. Just look at the beautiful shape, look at the side profile. It was so cute, so I just had to show you guys that. And of course, doing the same exact thing, going around the sidewalls and the cuticle area to go ahead and blend everything in. Make sure everything is nice and smooth and there's no huge lumps or bumps. And then once I finish with this, I'm gonna go ahead and buff her nails, buff all 10 of her nails using my purple buffer. And then I'm going to have her wash her hands just to remove any excess dust, and then we're going to be ready for designs. So this is right after she washed her hands. Everything is nice and clean, nice and cute, just how we like it. Get into those cuticles, get into that shape, honey. These nails came out so cute. This is the perfect canvas for some art, okay? So I'm going to let y'all get a little bit more application appreciation. Yeah, get into it. Now we're going to start with our French tips. So I'm using super white gel polish from Sting Nail Co. You can get it from stingbeauty.com along with everything else mentioned in this video. I'm using a striper brush that you can get, any striper polish. I just wiped off the color that came with it. And now I'm just using that to go ahead and draw in my French with the white polish. The real trick to getting a clean French tip is, first of all, making sure that everything is even from finger to finger. You don't want one French to be like thicker than the French on another finger. And second of all, just going in after you've drawn your French and actually editing it, looking at it, comparing the French on the pointer finger to the middle finger to make sure they look the same, they're the same width and everything like that. It's hard to do at first, but the more French tips you do, the easier it gets. As you can see, once I've drawn the French, I'm going to go ahead and compare those two. I feel like this one needed a little bit more tweaking to get it to look like the one on the other hand. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to cure that. I wanted her to cure each finger individually just because, you know, I did work kind of hard on these Frenchies and I didn't want to bump anything or for her to maybe move or sneeze or something and mess it up. So once I get it perfect, I go ahead and cure it and then just switch the hands out like that. Once I'm happy with the coverage on all her nails, I'm going to go ahead and apply a gel top coat just to seal everything in. I'm using the gel top coat from StingBeauty.com. Of course, this is one of my favorite products. It's going to seal that design in and keep everything nice and white and pretty for the next 3 to 4 weeks or until she comes back, honestly. Once I have that applied on all her fingers, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that there's none that's sleeked off on the sides around the tip area because that kind of makes the nails look wider than they need to. So I'm just going to wipe that off with my cleanup brush and then have her put her hand in the light for 60 seconds. And now we're done. This is the finished product. These came out super cute and super clean. As always, you know, with the French, it's giving real classy vibes. Thank you guys for watching and I will see you on the next one.